Bend the knee!
Valor Mogolas, everybody. This is Don Willie back again for another edition of Epic Battles of Ice and Fire. And today I am here with Robert Won His Crown to bring you the War of the Five Kings. And since this is such a big battle, I've decided to enlist some help. So I got my friends along with me, JD the Dragon from the Hype Swatch and also from the Rogue Watchers. I got my man, James Big Games Michelle, also from the Hype Swatch. I got my man, Jerry the Mad King Lawler, also known as Jerry the Targaryen Steamboat. And I have my homegirl, Christina the Sphinx, so we can break down these 5 claimants to the throne and see who would come out on top in an epic battle royal for the crown. So, you already know who we have, but let me introduce them. First up, we have King Joffrey Baratheon, the guy who's already sitting on the Iron Throne. Next up, we have Robb Stark, the Young Wolf, the King in the North, the guy who was fighting to get revenge for his father and his family. Next up, we have Stannis Baratheon, the one true king, the rightful claimant to the throne by all the laws and rules of Westeros. Next up, we have Balon Greyjoy, the Iron Reaver, the guy who decided, you know what, when everybody is sleeping, that's when the Kraken attacks. And last but not least, we have the King in Highgarden, the guy who was able to bring the Stormlands and the Reach into this whole battle. And even though people might think of him as, you know, a little soft, don't forget, this is Robert and Stannis' younger brother, Renly Baratheon. So, let's look at each of these characters and break down how it would go in an epic skirmish between these guys right along this river here. Oh boy, let's talk about it.
Let me tell you something here, Don Willie. It takes a king to know a king, and that's why I'm backing King Joffrey as the one true king of Westeros, and all of these others are just jealous relatives of his, or just plain pretenders. Strengths? Everything is Joffrey's strength. He has it all. He has looks, lineage. He's the true son of the greatest warrior ever to rerun in Westeros. The man who bested Rhaegar Targaryen in battle. He was trained by the greatest maester of arms in the 7 kingdoms. Joffrey Baratheon is the one true king of Westeros and has all of the 7 gods on his side for this battle. Weaknesses? The only weakness that he might have is his age. That, and maybe that no good runt Tyrion that he's always having to protect. He might be a bit younger, but Joffrey, his strength is beyond his years.
So we actually know that one true king of Westeros is actually King Stannis of the House Baratheon. King Stannis is a man with many strengths. We'll start with some quotes that have been said about him. Stannis is a large man, tall, broad-shouldered and sinewy. Jon Snow notes that Stannis towers over him, that he is an accomplished commander, sailor, and warrior, and he is respected and feared. Let us not forget that this is a man who is hardened, tempered by steel. He withheld against the might of the Reach, Storm's End for a year, surviving nothing but on shoe leather, rats, cats, and dogs. Stannis is the one true king of Westeros, a man of many strengths. His one weakness could potentially be the birthing of shadow babies that weaken him throughout the story, and that is it for the one true king of Westeros.
Balon Greyjoy's strengths are: he is merciless, he's battle-tested, and skilled in various weapons. He is cunning, knowing when to strike at what he perceives as the right time. His weaknesses are his age, his arrogance, and his pride. And also, he does not have a lot of experience in hand-to-hand, on-land combat. He's mostly raped and pillaged fishing villages and coastal regions.
Introducing the young wolf,
the king in the north, the one and oldest son grew of Ned Stark and Catelyn Tully. This boy was raised, trained in sword fighting, wears armor. He also trained with Jon Snow as well alongside of Theon Greyjoy to stay on top of his skills. His weaknesses are that he's young, he's ambitious, he's weak in politics due to his honor, fighting with a vengeance, and he's stubborn. Anyway, another strength of this man is his military tactics. He has beat Tywin Lannister time and time again. In every battle that he has faced Tywin Lannister, he even captured Sir Jaime Lannister by throwing a decoy and putting a part of his army against Tywin Lannister and having Jaime Lannister attack River Run, and in that, capturing the Kingslayer.
Contrary to popular belief, Renly actually does have a few strengths on his side. For one, he would have been trained by the Master-at-Arms at Storm's End. Two, he is going to be heavily armored, seeing as how not only was he a High Lord, but also he's a king now. So what man is not going to be heavily armored in that situation? Three, he happens to be young, virile, quick, and even though he may not be a brilliant military tactician, he can rally troops to his side, as he was able to rally the entire Stormlands and the Reach during this war. Now, his weaknesses, unfortunately, he is not battle-tested as the other, or at least three of these kings are. Sorry there, Joff. And also, listen, he is kind of not as astute when it comes to military matters and doesn't seem to take them as serious. So that was probably his biggest detriment, is the fact that he doesn't take these military matters as serious as the other four of these so-called kings. So now we'll take it to the panel and see who would come out on top in this War of the Five Kings. So, JD, let's start off. What do you think is going to happen when Robb gets in that ring and sees Joffrey Baratheon?
Oh, when he sees Joffrey Baratheon, you know exactly where he's going. He's going straight for Joffrey Baratheon, and he's going for his head. He isn't going to hold back. In a trading session with them back at Winterfell when Joffrey showed up with the king, and I'm sorry, Jerry, Joffrey was not trained by King Robert Baratheon. Anyway, with that being said, Joffrey's going to die in this battle situation. He's going to get his ass kicked. There is no ifs and buts about it. Joffrey loses. Head chopped off.
Jerry, do you have a response to the king in the north?
Look here, JD. I was there in Winterfell, and I saw firsthand that Robb Stark is nothing but a coward. When King Joffrey visited him at Winterfell, Robb Stark was too afraid to take on Joffrey using the real swords. He hid behind his Maester of Arms man skirt and would only use tourney swords. Well, you know what? Now Joffrey Baratheon has a Valyrian steel blade to match the rest of his might, and that would be the end of Robb Stark, as he'll take his head off.
Unfortunately, Jerry, you're mistaken with that sentence right there. It was not Robb hiding behind his so-called Maester at Arms. It was the Maester at Arms that said they should not do it so nobody got injured. So in that, Joffrey still gets his ass kicked because Robb's quicker, that's better than he is. And I'm sorry to say it, man, he's smarter than Joffrey is.
Robb Stark's smarter? The Starks are nothing but idiots. If idiots flew, then Winterfell would be an airport.
Well, listen, Mad King, the one thing that you failed to mention, though, is that Arya did disarm Joffrey right alongside the trident. I mean, well, how do you expect a man who gets disarmed by a little girl to not be beaten by the young wolf?
Erroneous on both accounts here. Arya, she's that dirty tomboy she-wolf, she cheated, and she caught the true king off guard while he was escorting and protecting Lady Sansa and had her direwolf attack him from behind. He would have been able to kill that direwolf if he wasn't busy protecting Lady Sansa from the vicious creature.
I see someone has been reading from Maester Pycelle's histories of these accounts and not the actual, accounts on the ground. But, we will excuse you because Joffrey is your man, so hey. Now, let's take it over to another highly contested battle, and this would probably be my man Renly Baratheon versus his big brother Stannis the Wannis. So, James, what do you think happens when the King in Highgarden faces the guy who's been tamed by the Red Priestess from Ashai?
I believe the Manus, King Stannis of the House Baratheon, would throw the peach back into Renly's face, slice him down with Lightbringer with ease, for the night is dark and full of terrors, my friend.
Well, apparently there's some terrors coming out of Melisandre's skirts, and that is the only way that Stannis was able to beat Renly in the show, and also in the books, because he knew he was going to get his ass handed to him. People like to talk a lot of smack about how Renly is all fanciful and he's too much into his balls and galas and all that stuff. But let's not forget that people say that Renly, is the spitting image of young Robert Baratheon. And we know what young Robert Baratheon can do.
Yeah, Renly, he loves to get as many asses handed to him as possible. He's been stabbing Loras Tyrell with his sword, and Loras is still fighting. Must not be too deadly there.
Oh, that's a low blow right there, Mad King. That is a low blow indeed.
The way Renly likes it.
You can speak that Renly is the spitting image of Robert Baratheon. However, he is several inches shorter and far less muscular. That is known. And Renly likes to play at war, where Stannis is the master of war and is a true warrior, while Renly is not.
True warrior that let a woman do all his fighting for him with some damn shadow babies. So, come on, let's not pretend like Stannis went on the battlefield and cut Renly down in a one-on-one. I'd like to see the old man try.
Did the Shadow Baby not save lives? Hashtag Shadow Baby saves lives.
Hashtag Stannis is nothing without Melisandre. Anyway, let's take it to see what Balon Greyjoy would be doing while all of this is going on. Christina, what do you got for us?
Balon Greyjoy is a low-down, dirty trickster. He's going to find the weak link. He's going to find somebody who is not prepared, they're not ready, they're otherwise distracted, and he's going to go for it, just like his whole family has done over time. They're smart. Yeah, they suck. Yeah, they're a-holes, depending on who you're asking, but they know when to strike.
All you have to do is touch Balon and he will break a hip and die of infection.
Wow. Pretty strong words there from the Stannis collective.
Who in the Greyjoy bloodline died of infection?
I'm just saying he would have an infection from a broken hip because he's old as dirt.
Well, we all know the age has nothing to do with it. There are many elderly aged warriors in our series, people who have been fighting for a long time. It could still go on fighting for many more years. And Balon was one. I mean, he's one of them. He's tough. He's hard. He's iron-born. He's no joke.
I'm sorry to say this. He is no Sir Barristan Selmy. No. Sorry. Balon is weak.
A Balon Greyjoy was defeated by a swift wind while on a bridge.
No, he was assassinated by a faceless man on a bridge.
Erroneous.
Well, hey, listen, you know what? If we had to all judge as to who would be the first person to get chopped down in this particular bout, who do you guys think? All right, so we got one vote for Joffrey.
I'm going Joffrey.
That's 2 for Joffrey.
I vote Joffrey.
That's 3 for Joffrey. Sorry.
Everyone but Joffrey. He'll take them all out at the same time. True King of the North.
Wow. Hey,
7 gods behind him. 7 gods behind him. Valerian Steel.
You need 7 gods. I only need 1. You die.
Okay, you know what? It looks like it's pretty much a majority decision. The first combatant out.
Joffrey's out of there. He couldn't even handle Blackwater. He ran back to his mother's skirts. He's a bitch. He's done.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, pretty much the first one down is Joffrey Baratheon. So now we got
No!
a 2-on-2 matchup, and so we've got Balon Greyjoy, Renly Baratheon, Stannis Baratheon, and Robb Stark. So, judging by the combatants that we have left, who do you guys think would be the second person to fall in this contest?
Renly Baratheon.
Wow, you just go and throwing Renly under the bus like that. Okay, so that's
Dude, I gotta tell you this. I'm gonna say this right now. Like Christina said, Balon's gonna be cunning. He's gonna find his weakness. It's gonna be Renly. Renly dies.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see him going after the next weakest link, which is, I mean, we don't know much about Renly's fighting skills. You know, he's trained up as every little lordling is, but we don't know anything further than that. We know he's personable, he's social, people love him, but we know like nothing about his abilities as a fighter. So next up, after Joffrey goes, you know, it's him.
okay.
He
James.
has no ability as a fighter. He's just a punk kid.
I
So
too,
like he's super sexy. That's Lord.
Oh,
I
wow.
too say that Renly Baratheon will be the next to go. I do believe Stannis will be the one to slay him. I think that even though you bring up Mel, and Stannis' reliance on Mel, this is a war between these 5 guys in a pit, no external forces. Mel doesn't matter in this equation. Stannis defeats Renly in a fight.
He's a kinslayer? You think he would go for him and not let somebody else take him out?
He already kinslayed.
Not in this context. Like, they're just going in straight in, you know, he hasn't killed any of his family, not yet.
Renly deserves it.
Wow. Okay, well, again, we got another majority decision. It looks like Renly Baratheon is down for the count. And that leaves Balon Greyjoy, Stannis Baratheon, and Robb Stark. So, you know what, Jerry? Who do you think goes down next in the 3 kings that are left in this particular battle royale?
It's obvious to me, Don Willie. The next one going down obviously has to be Stannis Baratheon, as Robb and Stannis would end up fighting together. And Balon, being the opportunist that he is, would strike him through the hound. And Stannis is, you know, he's just full of himself, always talking about, oh, this belongs to me, I should get this, I want that. Stannis' ego is so big that Maester Aemon from the wall can see that ego just overfloated.
Oh, man. All right, well, listen, Jerry's voting for Stannis in what would be an upset move. So, man, oh man, JD, who do you think goes down next?
Actually, to tell you the truth, I'm sorry, Jerry, I'm going to have to tell you this. I think you're going to see what happens here is when Stannis and Robb see Balon Greyjoy take that cheap shot on Renly Baratheon, those two are going to team together and X out Balon on Greyjoy.
Wow, so we got one vote for Stannis going down, another vote for Balon going down. Christina, who do you got going down next?
Well, mayhaps after the other few people fall and Stannis and Robb and Balon are standing there, Stannis and Robb, I don't think they really just turn on each other off top. I think one of them will first see Balon as and I know I'm Team Balon, but this is just how I see it playing out. I just see them looking at him first as the enemy, because Balon is Ironborn and he's been, you know, causing the Starks drama and issues for decades and decades and, you know, hundreds of years. So I see them looking at him first as an enemy, because I feel like the Baratheons, or at least Stannis and the Starks, they share a similar code of honor, and for that reason they may look on Balon as somebody they might turn on if it was just the 3 of them together. I'm not saying they'll beat Balon, but I could see them going after him, and because it's 2-on-1, it's possible that he may lose that fight. Now, roles reversed, you know, where Balon's standpoint, he's going to go for whoever's losing, and that might be Robb versus Stannis. So if Balon has the upper hand and he's going on the offensive, he'll probably go hit up Robb because Stannis is so experienced and so battle-tested. Robb may lose that fight. Honestly, maybe even just in his mind, because he's like, oh my god, I'm fighting Stannis. You know, he may not even bring up all the skills and training that he has because he's just so wrapped up in the fact that he's fighting Stannis Baratheon. And then here comes Balon hitting you behind the kneecaps. Boom.
Very interesting take. So, I mean, it sounds kind of like a toss-up, but you know, I need something a little bit more concrete. Who goes down? Is it Robb or Balon?
Okay, so who goes down? Freaking Robb, man. You know why? He has too much freaking honor, and when it comes down to it, he's not going to take no low shots, and Balon will. And that's what it's going to take to beat Stannis. Like, he's not going to beat him one man to man. So Balon will take them low blows, Robb won't, and for that reason, Balon will win.
But here's your problem. This is where you're missing the concept of everything. Robb and Stannis are going to see that low blow, and with their honor, they're going to join teams, and they're going to kick the shit out of Balon Greyjoy.
Well, so far, we've got one for Stannis going down, one for Robb going down, and one for Balon going down. So, James Michelle, who do you see going down with the three men that we have standing?
Well, I will happily break this tie. First off, you want to bring Stannis' ego in question? Yeah, because Balon is ego-free. That being said, I don't even think Stannis and Robb need to team up to defeat Balon. He is old, and I think that the bigger man, the bigger battle-tested man, and the young, virile young man could take him in a 1-versus-1 fight regardless. So Balon, you gotta go.
Okay, so that's 2 against Balon. That is 1 against Robb, 1 against Stannis. And it looks like, you know, just to push this a little bit over the edge, if I'm a betting man in this particular battle, I'm going to say that Balon is the one who goes down in this particular bout, which leaves Robb Stark and Stannis Baratheon, the 2 final combatants in this War of 5 Kings.
This isn't fair to Balon having these 2 idiots team up together. These are Stannis Baratheon and Robb Stark are nothing but 2 low-down, dirty cheaters.
Since we have the 2 representatives here, we are going to let these 2 guys plead their cases. So, for the young wolf, JD the Dragon, tell me why Robb would win over Stannis.
Why would Robb win over Stannis? So let's put it this way, man. Robb's younger, he's faster, he's quicker, and he's pretty damn smart. This guy has never been battle-tested in his life, and he took one of the proven generals. Granted, he cheated when he beat Mad King Aerys, but he took a battle-tested person that's been cocky and arrogant through his whole career as a battle general, and has beat his ass time and time again. So you're telling me a guy that's still military trained, very smart in tactics, is going to beat the young wolf? Step up and bring it on.
James Michelle, why do you think that Stannis Baratheon would come out on top?
You can say what you want about Robb Stark, but I can tell you this. In a fight with no external forces, Robb Stark is nothing without Grey Wind. He cannot defeat Stannis, a man almost twice his size, in a 1-versus-1 fight. Maybe he's quicker. He is definitely younger. But one thing that Stannis has on his side: resolve, determination, and the will to win by any means necessary.
You can take your will to win, you can take your resolve and shove it. I got a young man. This guy he's been trained with the sword since he was young. He's very smart. You can't discount the young wolf. He's going to come in guns a-blazing, and I think I have more of a fight on his hands than you actually realize. I think we're going to go blow for blow, and I still give it to my young wolf.
I would question Robb being smart. We have seen Robb make some pretty bad decisions, and the experience with Stannis just far outclasses Robb's. Stannis has won plenty of great battles, defeating the Might of the Reach, defeating the Iron Fleet. This is a man who's just battle-tested, way more compared than Robb Stark is.
Okay, I give you a bad decision. Her name, Melisandre. Horrible idea, dude. That's bad. if he doesn't have Melisandre on his side at this point in time, he's screwed. He's done. The old man gets wasted.
You can bring up my woman, but I can bring up Jane Westerling. Robb makes bad choices with women as well. And this has nothing to do with a 1-versus-1 battle. We're talking about a melee fight. These are external things that do not factor into a melee 1-versus-1 fight.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who brought up Mel and Jane, but I just know in comparison, it's not equal.
It was a combination of both.
Well, either way, you know what? So obviously, JD is sticking with Robb Stark, and James is sticking with Stannis. So, just getting some outside perspectives. Christina, who do you think wins ultimately between these two combatants?
So tough. It's really tough because they're both great. They're both so awesome. And Stannis is older. He has more experience. And Robb is younger with more open-minded battle strategies. But 1-to-1, just going in there, I got to give it to the young wolf. He's got the energy, the vitality, the youth versus old Stannis the Manus. But if Robb wasn't there, I'll tell you, Stannis got it all day long.
You're going with the young wolf.
Yeah.
So you're siding with JD on this one. So Mad King Lawler, who do you have coming out on top? It's melee with Stannis versus Robb Stark.
Well, I have both these two idiot pretenders stabbing themselves and killing them both selves during this fight. However, one thing that Stannis has that the idiot Robb Stark doesn't have, he has the beautiful Melisandre to bring him back from his own stupidity. That will be the one thing that saves this idiot in this one-on-one fight between Robb, the coward Stark.
So pretty much you're saying that you think Stannis would come out on top, so you're siding with James Mitchell. So it looks like I'm going to have to be the tiebreaker in this one. And when it all comes down to it, based on experience, based on possible sword skills, based on overall points in terms of battle-proven skills, as the final judge for this one, I'm going to have to give it to Stannis of the House Baratheon. So when it's all said and done, it looks like the 7 kingdoms of Westeros will have to bend the knee to Stannis Baratheon. So this was quite a difficult one to decide, and it looks like I was the tiebreaker here. But when you come down to the come down, when it's all laid out on the table, man, this one was a tough one. And even though you would think that some of these guys would be easy to take out, remember, all of these guys have some sort of formal military education and some sort of battle training. Some are more tested on the battlefield than others, and we see who came out on top. I was the final tiebreaker for the whole thing, but look, at the end of the day, I like all the guys, but it looks like Stannis would have prevailed in a battle royale style melee. So, thank you again to Christina the Sphinx, JD the Dragon, Jerry the King Lawler, the Mad King that is, and James Michelle for helping me out with this one. And I will be back next week for the St. Valentine's Day Massacre edition of Epic Battles of Ice and Fire. So look out for that one. And you guys already know the rest. Rate, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends, come back for more. That's been my time, and this is Don Willie saying, Valor Harris.
Thank you.